Hey everyone! This is a tutorial on how to use Functorio. It's a lot easier, hopefully, than you think. Coding ability is definitely nice to have, but it's probably not required. And maybe you can learn a thing or two about how to actually write code. So to start using Functorio, you go on the GitHub page. It's this URL here. It's also linked from the README. And there's various ways to use it, but the easiest one is you just click here on code, and then you start a code space by pressing plus here. Now to do this, you do need a GitHub account, but it is free. So you need to sign up before you do this. So to use your code space, you just click on plus here. And now as you see, it starts up a new tab and you should be able to see this code editor coming up. And it will probably take a little bit to start opening up this window. All right. And after about 2 minutes or so, it's what it took for me. I'm editing this out just to save you some time. You see this welcome to the code space picture, and you see the README over here. Now, the first thing we're going to do is you see down here is what's called a terminal. So if this, and to use this terminal, this is where we're going to give commands. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to type lake build, and this will start building the project. And again, this is going to take some time, and I'm going to start just cutting this out, but it'll probably take a couple of minutes. All right, so this took about maybe another 3 minutes or so on my computer. Don't worry, you only have to do this once. All right, great. So now that we have this started, let's try and actually build our own factory. So we're going to just look at the red science 150 example. So this is an example of creating 150 red science per minute. And to generate a blueprint, what you do is you just type /red science and hit enter. And then it spits out a blueprint. So you just double click that, copy paste, open Factorio, and now we can import this. And you just place it like so. And as you see, it works beautifully. All the things are flowing through and coming up to the sciences and outputting some science over here, hopefully soon. All right, here we have our first science. So it works end to end. Okay, wonderful. Now let me quickly show you how to actually do this. So let's say we started out with nothing here. This is how you would be writing your own factory. So what the first thing you do is you just define your factory, right? So this is the red science factory. And what it is a right bus do. And then I always start at the back. So the first thing I want to do is I want to make red science. So you just do make red science, and what we want to return is 150 red science, right? And then let me just quickly copy paste from another example, just one line so I remember. So how you write a thing, a factory is just with the bus assembly line command. And so what we want to do here is red science, right? And what is this called again in real life? 1 second. Red science. So this is called automation science, right? So the first thing we want to do is build the automation science pack. And so just going to do this here. Now, these squiggly red lines, this tells you that we made a mistake. And we did, because this is much more than we actually have. So what we want, and the programming language actually tells you how you got things wrong. So what it tells you here is that, hey, the type of your thingy is actually this, but what you expected here is red science 150. So unfortunately, Lean does a bad job of printing this type. This type is actually much more useful. To get the value of this type, you copy paste it like so. And you just write this little couple of lines of code. And now you actually see what you want to see. And you see it creates way too many red signs. So let's choose a smaller number. Let's choose 5, and then we update that here as well, 5. And so with 5, we get 75. Aha, so we need 10, right? And it still complains something is wrong. So let's see, 10. We simplify this. Perfect. Now we have 150, but we also need to take copper plates and iron gear wheels. So you could spell out this whole thing, but there's also abbreviations defined. So this is just called copper 150 and then gear 150. Perfect. And you see no more red squiggly lines. That means it actually worked. And so here we're going to now pass a copper and a gear. And now you get red squiggly lines that those things aren't defined yet. So let's start defining them. Let's make some gears. We just gotta copy paste this. Make gear. And it's probably gonna take some iron and return gears. We need 150 gears, as we've defined before. To make this work. And then here, iron gear wheel. I think if we just do one, I think this is how it works. So I just happen to know this recipe by heart. But again, you could just type it up here and it would tell you 150, 300. All right, so now we have the gears that we're making and they need iron. And we could use furnaces for that, but let's just not do that. So let's just do input iron 300. Let copper input copper plate 150. And now everything type checks and everything is wonderful and works. And again, we could try actually running this. Now we're not going to have the furnaces this time, so it's going to be a little bit shorter. You can import it into Functorio. And there we go. All right, wonderful. Thank you so much for this quick tutorial going with me. And you know, from here on out, you can look at other examples. Here's a full factory on Nauvis. Whatever you want to do, just do it. And feel free to extend things. We don't have beacons yet, but that'd be great to be added. If you have any questions, just go on Discord and we're happy to help out. Even if it's kind of a silly question or anything. All right, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Bye.